Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into the card that I want to show off today, I want to thank all of you for checking out my previous video called "Is It Wrong for Me to Want Sports Card Prices to Crash?" It was a fun mental exercise on the state of the hobby, where prices are going. I got some great feedback from you, so again, really appreciate you taking the time to check out that video. And if you haven't checked out that video, I will be putting a link to it at the end of this video, so definitely go check it out. All right, on to today's video and the one card that I just picked up for my vintage baseball card collection. As I'm slowly building my vintage collection, I've gone from trying to focus on particular years, staying with Hall of Famers primarily, to jumping around. It's been an interesting exercise as I try to find some focus on what cards to go after to add to my collection, because there's so many great vintage cards out there. Well, there are certain cards that, even though I may not be targeting or focusing on them, I do have my 100 cards for $100,000 list. So that's one focus of mine, that to see if I can add one of those cards from that list. But occasionally I come across, just doing some random searches on eBay, a card that catches my eye. One that just, I love the design of the card, the image of the player themselves. Just, there's something that speaks to me. And if you've been collecting vintage cards, and maybe to some extent modern, but I think that this sentiment is tied mainly toward vintage cards. You see a card and it just it speaks to you. There's something about the card that says, yeah, I want to have that card as part of my collection, and this card fits the bill. I had it in my watch list. It was a buy it now, and the price that the seller wanted it for wasn't unreasonable. It was maybe on the higher end of the comps, but within reason. But I had other things that I was looking at, seeing if I could purchase in the meantime, so I just let it go, and I said, hey, I'll keep it in my watch list, and if something works out, then maybe I'll go for that card. Well, about a week ago, I noticed, now for some sellers, if it's a buy it now, and they notice there are a couple people watching the card, if you've noticed that they can make you an offer, and you get it in your notification, hey, the seller is offering you a X% discount, and you can accept the offer or not. This wasn't one of those cases. I was just scrolling through my watch list, and I noticed that the seller, in its listing, its general listing, decided to drop the price by 10%. So like I said, it had been in my watch list for, I would say, maybe 2 weeks, and no one had bought it yet. So the seller decided to drop the price by 10. And I think it actually had been dropped by 10% even for a few days. So this wasn't an instant thing where I just pounced on it. Again, given that 10% helped out a little bit, brought it a little bit more reasonable. Again, at the end of the day, with shipping and tax, I probably paid around comps, which I guess in this day and age, still with certain cards, that's a decent deal. They weren't asking for the moon for it. So I think I got a good deal. I got the card in, and it looks fabulous for its grade, which is what I'm really excited to find these types of cards. Cards that aren't collector grade, they're a step or two below collector grade, but again, through patience and just seeing what's out there, this card is well centered. Maybe some imperfections on the corners. There are some things to it, but just the general eye appeal, I love it. And for the grade and the price, I'm extremely pleased. So with all that introduction out of the way, I'm going to turn the camera around and show off a Yogi Berra card to add to my vintage collection. All right, before I show off my Yogi Berra pickup, a couple weeks ago, I picked up this card. This gorgeous 1961 Topps Whitey Ford in a PSA 4. Love this card. Well centered for a 4. Again, not perfect, but the general eye appeal on it, I love it. I love I don't think everyone maybe is a fan of the 61 Topps design. I like the simplistic design of it. The portrait images that they primarily use are really nice. I like them. So yeah, I had picked up this 61 Topps Whitey Ford and absolutely love it. So why am I showing this card? Well, just so happens that the Yogi Berra card I picked up is 61 Topps Yogi Berra. Just, I don't know, I love that image of Yogi Berra. You see Yankee Stadium in the background there. Just that little smile that Yogi Berra has. I don't know, something about this card. Whenever I see it, I'm like, wow, that's a cool card, and one that I want in my collection. And so again, look at the centering on that PSA 4. Now again, there are some imperfections to this card. It is a 4, but generally speaking, there's no creases on it. You get some, corner wear. There is some, the speckle. You get a little bit of the ink running through it a little bit. Again, up upon closer inspection. So if you really look close at the Yogi Berra, you're going to see some black ink there, and some little print dots around the black border, which may take away from it. The edge there on the right may be, less than sharp. But, I mean, my gosh, it's just minor details, at least in my mind. So, overall, really sharp. Here is the back of the card. Off-center, top to bottom. There's a very faint, it's hard to see between the card background and the yellow there. If I can get this to focus here. There we go. You'll see it is a pretty small border there at the bottom, but it's even, and you get an ink blotch there against some of the number. Minor things in my opinion. Overall, clean back. If I wanted to get this card in a 5 or a 6, I'd probably be looking at $125 plus and just going up. Yogi Berra is very popular player, and his prices reflect that. So the other reason why I wanted to get this is, again, going back to the Whitey Ford. So now I have the pitcher and catcher for the 1961 New York Yankees. Not that I'm looking to focus. I just thought it was interesting that I picked up Whitey Ford, one of the greatest Yankee pitchers of all time, and now I get to match it with his 1961 counterpart, Yogi Berra. So cool. Two recent additions to my vintage collection. Let me know what you think of the combination, the Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra. Again, I love finding these types of condition cards where, there's something wrong with them that doesn't get them a 6 or 7 or something like that, knocks it down to a 4. but the general eye appeal is there, and just again, absolutely love it. Those are the cards that I am looking to add to my collection because I can get them for a somewhat affordable price. So that's all I have for you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.